Learning from my mistakes. Current setup. Hi, my name is Kyle and I run the channel Hard Mode Activated. So I'm trying to put together a little series where I go through on how to be a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and going through the mistakes that I made when I first started out, so you can learn from me on what to do and what not to do. So today's episode has to deal with my current setup. I'm gonna make a video later on talking about how much money I've spent on my entire process. But what I'd like to make clear is that this is not how much I spent in one sitting. It's been built up over time. For instance, I'm using, and I'll talk about it too, I'm using 3 ring lights. I mean, I also have this light above me, which is my fan, but if I were to turn that off, it actually doesn't make too much of a difference besides everything else that's behind me, because it's primarily these 3 lights that are giving the lighting to me. I don't know how to word things. So going over my current setup, you have to realize, like I said with the lights, I have upgraded over time to different styles of lights based off of my budget. So since my budget has increased, I've been able to buy different lights or more lights. So for my current setup, let's just start off with the audio. So with audio, I use a Focusrite 2i4 second generation USB audio interface. Then my preamp, which is the ArtTube MPS-TV3 variable valve voicing tube mic preamp with limiter. And finally, I have the Behringer X, I don't even know how to pronounce that, 1202FX. Also, for my microphone, I use the Audio Technica AT2020 cardioid condenser studio XLR microphone. Black. Now I'm holding this one in my hand because this is actually my secondary one. Nothing's wrong with this one. It's just that when I record multiple people, I pull out this one, but primarily it's right over next to me. Additionally, for both microphones, I do have this foam that goes over the microphone, as well as this like pop shield. It's to prevent all those sounds hitting the microphone. Additionally, I have acoustic foam on my wall that helps with the bouncing of audio. Now, I'm not an audio expert, so I could have it in the totally wrong place, but I'm fine with where it is right now. I also have a isolation microphone shield acoustic foam. It's this kind of half circle that goes on the back end of your microphone to help keep a lot of the sound in. So if I were to count just my microphone current setup, the current price would be $602.02. Now let me break that down for how much each item costs. So going to my spreadsheet, a 12-pack of the acoustic foam is about $15. The Focusrite Scarlett 214 second generation USB audio interface is $180. The preamp is $80. My other preamp, which is the Behringer X1202FX, that is $100. My microphone is about $100. My pop shield is around $13. And my isolation acoustic foam is $100. So $602 just for my microphone setup. That's not counting lights, camera, or anything else. Now let's check out how much my lights are currently worth. So like I said earlier, I'm actually using 3 ring lights. Now these 3 ring lights are all the exact same brand. None of them are off-brand. They're all by, I believe, Neewer. Yeah, Neewer, Neewer. Now these lights I've seen go for several different prices. When I first bought it, it was around $100 for one. So this might get a little difficult to calculate. If the most expensive one I bought was for $100 and the least expensive one I bought was for about $56, then you can kind of see where it's a little hard to calculate. Now I did buy a 2-pack before, so let's count that. So it's going to be $191.98 for 2. Then let's just count the one that was $56, and you're looking at a total of $247.97. So $248. Now this next part's going to be a little bit tricky. So when I originally started out, I just used a webcam, and there's nothing wrong with that. People still use webcams for normal recording and they look perfectly fine. But I wanted a camera, like a camera, something that I could use for photography, videography, everything. So I purchased a Canon 80D. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. Now, if I go to eBay and look up the Canon 80D, you can see that there are several prices out there. Now, I didn't bid on this. I bought it straight up. Now, looking at eBay, I can see that there are some prices that range, but the cheapest one I can find is for $1,029. Now, here is where I was able to actually purchase my Canon 80D without having to fish out the full $1,000. On eBay, they have something called PayPal credit. Right here, it says that you could pay $50 for 24 months. Now, what I wound up doing was that I did $100 for a year. Now, I've done this with my lens as well, my camera, my video card. I was able to pay off over a period of time. I was able to use a nice camera from the very beginning of me starting YouTube. I didn't have to use a webcam. I didn't have to worry about having a separate screen display, so I can just record my webcam separately from my gameplay footage. So when I overlay everything, I don't have to worry about where the camera's placed. Now, I did the same thing for my lens. Now, the current lens that I'm using is actually a Sigma. It's a Sigma 18-35mm with a 1.8 f-stop art lens. And this goes for around $800 to $700. And same thing, PayPal lets you pay $32 for 24 months. That's actually a really good deal. Actually, that's a better deal than what I'm currently paying. Now, starting out, if you did want to use the exact same setup that I'm using, you'll be paying $82 a month for 2 years. And you'll be able to use that camera and lens for other things besides just gameplay videos. You can use it for normal photography. You can use it for anything. And I do use this camera even when I stream. Canon has an app that lets you do a live shooting display on your computer. So what you're currently looking at is actually the live window. And so I can capture this window, put it onto OBS, Streamlabs OBS, crop a little bit so you can only see what I want you to see, maybe even add a green screen behind you, and then boom, you use a normal DSLR camera for streaming or recording. And what's good about it too is that if you did want to have your video separated from your gameplay, you can just record, and as you can see down below, it shows that I am currently recording this video, and then you can just overlay your normal footage over your gameplay for streaming, have your separate video record if you wanted it to on the side. The only downside about this camera is that it only has a 30-minute recording span, meaning after it's hit 30 minutes, it auto shuts the recording off. But if you really wanted to, you could do something like I mentioned before with webcam. If you use both OBS and Streamlabs OBS, you can have Streamlabs OBS only capture your camera footage. So you essentially have an unlimited amount of time of how long you want to record for. Meanwhile, if you use Streamlabs OBS to stream your gameplay footage with your camera layered over on top of that, then you could totally do that as well. So my current camera setup is about $1,712. So if you add up the current mic, lights, and camera, you're looking at about $2,500. I mean, really it's $2,562, but let's just say $2,500. And like I said, this can be used for both recording for Twitch. This can be used for normal photography if you wanted to do photography. And you know, anything else you really want to use your camera for. Now, like I've said, you don't have to use these cameras. You can go completely minimal with everything. With my audio setup, it gives me the best sound that I believe that I can get for the situation that I live in. So when I say my current setup, I mean my basic setup. This has nothing else to do with the capture cards that I use for those. Now, when I mention my current setup, this is just the setup I use no matter what. I do have another set of lights that I use when I have additional people over. I've mentioned I have more than one microphone because, yet again, when I have friends over, like you've seen in some other videos possibly, I do want to make sure I record their voices and not just my own. I've also used 2 camera setups for other videos, but I was borrowing, so I didn't buy that. But because it's also the same brand as mine, I can use the exact same lenses. In another video, I will touch upon how much I've spent entirely while on YouTube. And like I've stated in the very beginning of this video, this was not all spent in one go. There are still some things that I am currently paying for that I have not finished paying off yet. I have spent way more than this $2,500, and it was all spent periodically throughout the lifespan of how long I've been doing this. Now, regardless if I do Let's Play videos or Twitch, this is all a hobby. This is how I have fun. So don't think of it as I'm wasting my money and by the time I lose interest in this, it's all gone, because like I said, with this camera, with this lens, I can just do photography because I do like taking photos, I do like taking videos, but it's not my primary focus that I worry about every single day of my life. I don't get paid to do videography or photography for people. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy challenging myself. I like to see what other creators do to help inspire me, think outside of the box. And overall, I like talking to people. With Twitch, with YouTube, just on the streets or conventions, I've been able to meet so many people and share interests with them and kind of learn and grow and make new friends. Stay tuned for more videos that I plan to release about my whole journey through YouTube and Twitch over the past 2 years. Yeah, according to my spreadsheet, I started this December 25th, 2015. First thing I bought was a really bad microphone, a microphone stand, a scissor arm stand, and then 5 months later is when I bought my webcam and my game capture. So it looks like I'm more getting closer to a 3-year mark of starting and a 2-year mark of actually doing. So that means I spent almost an entire year getting ready, and that's the work I have to show for it. But look at now, I've definitely improved compared to what I've done before, and I can't be happier, and I can't wait to keep improving. So until then, I can't wait to see you in the next video. All right, learning from my mistakes. Current setup.